I should have noticed the car was too clean. That's the thought that keeps me awake now, in the hours when sleep should come but never does. The leather seats were pristine. No coffee stains, no crumpled receipts, no evidence of life. Just black leather that smelled like expensive cologne and something else. Something metallic, something I didn't want to think about, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it started. Christmas Eve. Seoul. The kind of cold that cuts through your coat and settles in your bones. I was standing outside the hotel where my company's holiday party had just ended, my breath forming small clouds in the freezing air. My phone was dead. My heels were killing me, and I was drunk enough to make bad decisions but sober enough to regret them later. The valet area was chaos. 20 people trying to get cars at once, everyone shouting, everyone cold, everyone wanting to go home. The valets were running back and forth, keys jangling, engines starting, luxury cars pulling up one after another. That's when I saw it. A black Mercedes S-Class idling at the curb, back door open, engine running. The valet was already moving to the next car. I didn't think. I just got in. The door closed behind me with a soft, expensive click. Not a slam, a whisper. That should have been my first warning. The second warning was the lock. I heard it engage, all 4 doors, simultaneously. That electronic sound luxury cars make. Thunk, final, irreversible. The third warning was the silence. No music, no phone, nothing. Just the quiet hum of the engine and my own breathing. I looked up. The driver was watching me in the rearview mirror. Not a valet, not even close. He was older, maybe 50. Face like granite. Eyes that had seen things I couldn't imagine and had stopped caring about them decades ago. He wasn't moving. Wasn't speaking, just watching. I think my voice came out smaller than I wanted. I think I got into the wrong car. He didn't respond. I'm sorry, I thought this was my ride. If you could just unlock the door. Seatbelt, he said. 2 syllables, flat, no emotion. No negotiation. My hands were shaking as I reached for it. The metal was cold. Click. Another irreversible sound. We pulled away from the curb smoothly, merging into Seoul traffic like water. I looked back at the hotel, watching it shrink behind us, watching my escape route disappear. Where are we going? I asked. He didn't answer. I tried the door handle. Locked. Child safety locks, I realized. The kind you can't override from the back seat. My phone was dead. My purse was on my lap, but what good was that? Pepper spray against whatever this was. Before we go any further, where are you watching from right now? Your room, your bed. Somewhere you feel safe. Remember that feeling. Hold on to it, because I lost mine that night and I never got it back. We drove for 20 minutes. Maybe 30, I lost track. The city lights became less frequent. The buildings more spread out, industrial, dark. The kind of places that don't show up on tourist maps. Finally, we turned into what looked like a warehouse district. Gray buildings. No signs, no people, just security cameras on every corner, their red lights blinking like evil eyes. The car stopped in front of a building that looked abandoned. Concrete, rust stains, metal door, no windows on the ground floor. The driver got out, opened my door, stood there waiting. Please, I said, I have money. Not much, but out. I got out because what else could I do? Scream. For who? My legs felt like water. The cold air hit me like a slap. He gestured toward the metal door. I walked. He followed. His footsteps were silent despite the gravel. Mine crunched like broken glass. Inside, a hallway, concrete, fluorescent lights that buzzed, that electrical hum that sounds like insects dying. We walked past doors, all closed, all silent. At the end of the hallway, an elevator. Old, industrial. The kind you see in buildings that were never meant to look nice. We went up. I counted floors by the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The doors opened. Everything changed. Where the hallway had been industrial decay, this floor was luxury. Dark wood panels, soft lighting. Art on the walls, real art. The kind you see in museums. The floor was marble, polished. I could see my reflection in it. And at the end of the hallway, behind a massive wooden desk, sat a man. He was young. Maybe 32, 33. Beautiful in the way dangerous things are beautiful. Sharp jawline. Eyes so dark they looked black in the soft lighting. Hair perfectly styled. Suit that probably cost more than my car. He was reading something. Papers spread across his desk. He had a fountain pen in his hand, and he was making notes in the margin of a document. He didn't look up when we approached. The driver stopped 3 feet from the desk. I stopped beside him, my heart hammering so hard I was sure they could both hear it. We stood there, waiting. The man kept reading, kept making notes. The pen made soft, scratching sounds against paper. Time stretched. My legs were shaking. I wanted to sit down. I wanted to run. I wanted to disappear. Finally, he set the pen down. Carefully, precisely, parallel to the edge of the paper. Then he looked up. His eyes met mine. I've heard people talk about feeling seen before, really seen. This wasn't that. This was being dissected, analyzed, cataloged, filed away. He looked at me the way scientists look at specimens under microscopes. Curious, detached, clinical. "Name," he said. His voice was beautiful too. Deep, soft. The kind of voice that could read you poetry or order your death with the same inflection. "Una," I whispered. "Park Una." He leaned back in his chair. Expensive leather. It didn't squeak. Nothing in this room would dare make an unwanted sound. "Park Una," he repeated, tasting the syllables. "You got into my car." It was a mistake. I thought it was my ride. The valet, there were so many cars. "I'm sorry, please, I'll just go. I won't tell anyone. I don't even know where I am." "I won't." He held up one hand, finger extended. A conductor silencing an orchestra. I stopped talking. "Do you know who I am, Park Una?" I shook my head. "Good," he smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Let's keep it that way." He gestured to a chair in front of his desk. "Sit." I sat. The chair was comfortable, too comfortable. The kind of comfort that makes you forget danger. He studied me in silence. 30 seconds, 40, a minute. I kept my eyes down, stared at my hands in my lap. They were still shaking. "You work at Hansung Corporation," he said. Not a question, a statement. My blood went cold. "How did you—" "Your badge, still clipped to your dress." I looked down. He was right. My company ID badge, smiling photo. Name, department. I reached to take it off, but his voice stopped me. "Leave it." I froze. "You were at the Christmas party, Hotel Schilla, grand ballroom. Your company rented it out. 400 employees, open bar. You had 3 glasses of wine. 1 whiskey sour. You spent most of the evening avoiding your supervisor because he's been trying to sleep with you for 6 months. You left alone at 10:43. Your phone died in the lobby. You borrowed a charger from the concierge but didn't wait for it to charge enough to call a cab. Impatient, impulsive, that's what got you here." Every word was correct, every detail accurate. My mouth was dry. "How do you know all that?" He didn't answer. Instead, he opened a drawer in his desk and pulled out a tablet, tapped the screen, turned it toward me. Security footage. The hotel lobby, me at the concierge desk, me waiting, me looking at my phone, me giving up. Me walking toward the valet area. He swiped. Another angle. Me getting into his car, me looking around, me realizing my mistake too late. He swiped again. My apartment building. My car, my route to work. My favorite coffee shop. "I know where you live," he said softly. "Where you work. Where you buy your morning coffee. I know you have a mother in Busan. Retired. Lives alone. Talks to you every Sunday at 8 p.m. I know you have 17,001 in your checking account and 300,001 in savings. I know you're 2 months behind on your credit card payments. I know everything about you, Park Una, everything that matters, everything that could hurt." Notice how every gesture matters, the way he sets down that pen, the way he controls every moment of silence. This is a man who has learned that power isn't about volume, it's about precision. I felt sick, dizzy, the room was spinning. "What do you want?" He closed the tablet, set it aside, folded his hands on the desk, wedding band on his left hand. Simple, expensive, somehow that made everything worse. This man had a life, a family maybe, and this is what he did with his time. This is who he was. "I don't want anything," he said, "but you got into my car. You saw my driver. You came to this building. You saw this floor. You saw me. That's a problem. I won't tell anyone, I swear. I don't even know what there is to tell. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. Please. Just let me go. I'll forget this ever happened." "Will you?" "Yes. You'll forget the man who knows where your mother lives, the The man who knows what time she takes her evening walk. The man who knows she stops at the same bench in the park every night to feed the stray cats. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe. "Don't," I whispered. "Please don't hurt her. She has nothing to do with this." "Neither do you," he said. "But here we are." He stood up, walked around the desk, leaned against it, arms crossed, looking down at me, close enough that I could smell his cologne, something expensive, something that probably had a name I couldn't pronounce. "I'm going to give you a choice, Park Yuna, and I need you to understand something before I do. This choice is permanent. There's no changing your mind later, no negotiation, no second chances. Do you understand?" I nodded. "Say it, I understand." "Good." He moved to the window, looked out over the city, all those lights, all those lives, normal people doing normal things. I used to be one of them. 3 hours ago, I was one of them. "Choice one," he said, still looking at the window. "I let you go, right now. My driver takes you home. You walk into your apartment. You charge your phone, you call your mother tomorrow like always. You go to work on Monday. You live your life. And one day, maybe next week, maybe next year, you say something. Maybe you're drunk, maybe you're angry. Maybe you just want someone to believe that something interesting happened to you once. And you tell someone about tonight. About the wrong car. About the driver who didn't speak. About the building with no windows. About me. And that day, your mother doesn't answer her phone at 8 p.m. She doesn't answer ever again, because choices have consequences, Park Yuna, and I keep my promises." He turned back to me, face emotionless, eyes dead. "Choice two, you work for me." I stared at him. "What?" "You heard me, you work for me. You do exactly what I tell you, when I tell you, how I tell you, no questions, no hesitation. No mercy for weakness. You become useful, and useful people stay alive. Useless people become problems, and I solve problems permanently." "I don't understand. Work for you doing what?" "Whatever I need. You're educated. You work at a major corporation. You have access to information, connections, resources. You're invisible. No one looks at people like you twice. You're perfect." "I'm not a criminal." He laughed, actually laughed. It was worse than the silence. "No. You're not yet, but you will be. Or you'll be dead. Those are the only two endings to this story." My mind was racing. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. Things like this didn't happen to people like me. I was nobody. I worked in accounting. I ate lunch at my desk. I went home to an empty apartment and watched Netflix until I fell asleep. I was boring, safe, normal. "I can't," I said. "I can't do what you're asking." "Then you choose option one." "And I choose what happens to your mother." "That's not a choice. That's a threat." "Yes," he agreed. "It is, but it's still a choice, and you need to make it right now." I looked at the driver, still standing by the elevator, face like stone. He'd heard all this before, I realized. Different people. Different nights. Same choice. Same ending. "What if I go to the police?" The man smiled again. That same empty smile. "I am the police, or rather, they work for me. Half the precinct is on my payroll. The other half is too scared to care. You go to them, they'll call me before you finish your statement. And then option one happens immediately. No delay, no hesitation. Your mother, your friends, your coworkers, everyone you've ever spoken to. Gone. Because you made the wrong choice." He pushed off from the desk, walked back to his chair, sat down, picked up his pen, went back to his papers like I wasn't even there. "You have 60 seconds to decide," he said, not looking up. "Starting now. 60 seconds, 1 minute. To choose between becoming a criminal or becoming an orphan. To choose between my life and my mother's. To choose between freedom and survival." I thought about running, about screaming, about fighting. But the driver was still there. Still watching, still silent. And this man, this beautiful, terrifying man, had already shown me how much he knew, how much power he had, how little my resistance would matter. 45 seconds. I thought about my mother, her face, her voice, the way she called every Sunday without fail, the way she worried about me living alone in Seoul, the way she still sent me care packages with homemade kimchi and warm socks. She'd survived a war, poverty, loss. She'd raised me alone after my father died. She was strong, stronger than me, but not stronger than whatever this man could do to her. 30 seconds. I thought about my life. My boring, safe, normal life. my small apartment, my predictable job, my Netflix subscription and my empty refrigerator and my overdue credit card bills. It wasn't much, but it was mine. It was real. It was safe. It was over. 15 seconds. I looked at him, still reading, still making notes. Like this was just another day, just another choice, just another person deciding whether to live or die. 5 seconds. "I'll do it," I whispered. He didn't react, didn't look up, just kept reading. "Say it louder." "I'll do it. I'll work for you. Smart girl." He set down his pen, looked at me. "From now on, you answer to me, only me. You don't talk to anyone about this. You don't ask questions, you don't hesitate. You do exactly what you're told, when you're told, how you're told. Break any of these rules and option 1 becomes permanent. Understand?" "Yes." "Yes, what?" I didn't know what he wanted, sir. "Boss." I settled on the safest option. "Yes, I understand." "Good." He opened another drawer, pulled out a phone. New, still in its box, slid it across the desk. "This is yours now. It only has one number programmed into it. Mine. It never leaves your person. It stays on. Always. When I call, you answer, first ring. No exceptions. When I text, you respond within 60 seconds. No exceptions. This phone is your leash, Park Yuna, and I hold the other end." I took the phone. It was heavy, expensive, state-of-the-art. My prison wrapped in aluminum and glass. "You'll continue your normal life," he said. "Your job, your routine, everything stays the same on the surface. But you're mine now, my eyes, my ears, my hands when I need them. You'll receive instructions. You'll follow them. No questions, no delays. You'll provide information when asked. Access when needed, alibis when required. You're a ghost now, Park Yuna, invisible, useful, mine." "What kind of information?" His eyes went cold. "What did I say about questions?" "I'm sorry. I need to know what I'm." "You're doing what you're told. That's all you need to know. That's all you'll ever need to know. The less you understand, the safer you are. Curiosity is a liability in my world. And I eliminate liabilities." He stood up again, walked to a cabinet on the wall, opened it. Inside were bottles, expensive liquor, crystal glasses. He poured 2 drinks. Whiskey, neat. Brought one to me. "Drink!" I took it. My hand was shaking so badly, the liquid rippled. "To new beginnings," he said, raising his glass. I raised mine. We drank. The whiskey burned. Smooth and expensive and burning all the way down, like swallowing fire, like sealing my fate. He finished his drink. Set the glass down. Checked his watch. A Patek Philippe. I recognized it because my ex-boyfriend used to obsess over watch magazines. That watch cost more than I'd make in 10 years. "Ye will take you home," he said, nodding toward the driver. "You'll go inside. You'll charge your phone, you'll act normal. Tomorrow you'll wake up, you'll go about your day, and you'll wait. When I need you, I'll call. Until then, you're free. As free as anyone who belongs to me can be." He walked back to his desk. Sat down, picked up his papers again. I was dismissed. I stood on shaking legs, walked toward the elevator. Yi was already there, holding it open. I stepped inside. The doors closed. My reflection stared back at me from the polished metal. Same face. Same eyes, different person. The ride down was silent. The walk through the concrete hallway was silent. The drive back to my apartment was silent. Yi pulled up in front of my building, unlocked the doors. "Out," he said. I got out. Stood on the sidewalk. Watched the black Mercedes pull away. Watched its taillights disappear into Seoul traffic. Watched my last chance at normal disappear with it. I walked into my building. Took the elevator to my floor. Unlocked my apartment door. Closed it behind me. Locked it. All 3 locks. Like that would matter. Like locks could keep out whatever I'd just become part of. I plugged in my phone. Watched it charge. Watched the screen light up with missed calls, missed texts. My mother, friends, coworkers wondering where I'd gone. I couldn't answer any of them. What would I say? Sorry, got into the wrong car. Accidentally joined the Mafia. Normal Christmas Eve stuff. The new phone was in my purse. I pulled it out. Looked at it. 1 contact. No name, just a number. No apps, no internet, no escape. I set it on my nightstand. Took a shower, hot water, trying to wash away the feeling of his eyes on me. The sound of those locks engaging. The taste of expensive whiskey sealing my fate. I couldn't. Some things don't wash away. I lay in bed, stared at the ceiling. The phone was there, silent, waiting, like a bomb waiting to explode, like a leash waiting to pull, like my life waiting to end. I didn't sleep that night. I haven't really slept since. What would you do if you were here? If you made that choice? Would you run? Would you fight? Or would you do exactly what I did, survive no matter what it cost? 3 days passed, normal days on the surface. I went to work, filed reports, answered emails, smiled at coworkers, made small talk about Christmas. Everyone asked if I had a good holiday. I lied and said yes. The phone never left my side, in my pocket at work, on my bathroom counter when I showered, on my nightstand when I slept or tried to sleep. I kept the volume all the way up, checked it constantly. Nothing, no calls, no texts, just silence, worse than any summons would have been. My mother called on Sunday at 8 p.m. exactly. Like always. Like everything was normal. I answered, tried to sound cheerful, told her about the Christmas party. Left out the part where I got into the wrong car and sold my soul to a beautiful monster. You sound tired, she said. Just work. Year-end stuff. You're working too hard. You should come visit, take a break. Soon, I lied. I promise. You always say that. I know, I'm sorry, I'll try. We talked for 30 minutes. Her garden, her friends. The stray cats in the park. Normal things, safe things. Things that didn't include the man who knew her schedule. Who knew which bench she sat on? Who could make her disappear with a phone call? I cried after we hung up. Quiet tears. The kind that hurt more because you can't make any sound. The kind that mean you've lost something you can't get back. The phone rang at 2 a.m. on the 4th night. I was awake. I was always awake now. Just lying in the dark, staring at shadows, waiting for this moment. First ring, I answered. Yes, there's a car outside your building. His voice, calm, quiet, like calling at 2 a.m. was perfectly normal. You have 5 minutes. He hung up. I got dressed in the dark. Jeans, sweater, coat. Boots, practical clothes. I didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know where I was going, but I knew enough to dress for. What? Crime, investigation, disposal of evidence. I grabbed the phone. My keys, nothing else. Left my real phone on the charger. Left my old life charging in my apartment. The black Mercedes was idling at the curb. Same car, same driver. He didn't look at me as I got in. Didn't speak. Just pulled away from the curb, the moment my seatbelt clicked. We drove for 40 minutes, out of my neighborhood, through areas I knew, then areas I didn't, industrial again, warehouses, dark buildings, but different from before. Closer to the river, I could smell it, cold water and urban decay. We stopped at a building that looked like all the others. Concrete. No signs, metal door, but this one had lights on inside. Dim, orange, the kind of light that doesn't reach the street. Yi got out, opened my door, gestured. Inside was a storage facility. Rows of units, metal doors, combination locks. Concrete floor stained with decades of oil and rust and things I didn't want to think about. Our footsteps echoed. The fluorescent lights buzzed. That same insect death sound. We walked to a unit in the back, number 47. Yi pulled out a key, unlocked it, rolled up the door. Inside was a car, a white sedan. Honda, maybe 5 years old, nothing special. The kind of car you see 1,000 times a day and never remember. The man was standing beside it. Same suit as before, different tie. He looked as fresh as if it were noon, not 2 a.m. Like sleep was optional for people like him, like human limitations didn't apply. "Park Yuna," he said. Right on time. I didn't respond, didn't know what to say. My heart was hammering. He walked around the car slowly, trailing his fingers along the hood, the door, the trunk. "Do you know what this is?" he asked. "A car, not just any car. This car belongs to a man named Kim D-young. He works for me, or he did, until 3 days ago when he decided to work for someone else instead. A competitor. Do you understand what that means?" I shook my head. "It means he betrayed me, sold information, compromised operations, put people at risk, put me at risk. That's not acceptable." He stopped at the trunk, rested his hand on it. "Kim D-young was found this evening, dead. Unfortunate accident. Car fire, very tragic. His family will be devastated, but these things happen." He wasn't looking at the trunk anymore. He was looking at me. This car needs to disappear, every part of it. It was seen at places it shouldn't have been. Security cameras, witnesses. If it's found, questions get asked. Questions lead to investigations. Investigations lead to problems. And I don't like problems. What do you want me to do? Take it to a chop shop. Address is programmed into the GPS. You'll drive there. You'll park it. You'll leave the keys in it. You'll walk away. One of my people will pick you up 2 blocks south. Simple. Why me? Why not ye or someone else? His expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Annoyance, maybe. Or disappointment. Because I told you to. Because this is what you agreed to. Because useful people do what they're told without questions. Are you having second thoughts, Park Yuna? No. Then get in the car. I looked at the Honda, white paint, normal. Unremarkable. Except it belonged to a dead man. Except it was evidence. Except I was about to become an accessory to murder, or disposal of evidence, or whatever the legal term was for what I was about to do. Now, he said, softly, like asking me to pass the salt. I got in the car. The interior smelled like smoke and something sweet, air freshener trying to cover something else. I didn't look in the back seat, didn't check the trunk, didn't want to know. The keys were in the ignition. I started the engine. It ran smooth, normal, like nothing was wrong. Yi rolled up the storage unit door behind me. I put the car in gear, pulled out slowly. The GPS lit up. Directions appeared. 12 miles. 42 minutes at this time of night. I drove. The streets were empty. A few taxis, delivery trucks, nobody else. Nobody to see me, nobody to remember. I followed the GPS directions exactly. Every turn, every street. Like if I followed the rules perfectly. Somehow this wouldn't be real. The chop shop was in a neighborhood I'd never been to, wouldn't ever want to be in during daylight. Rundown buildings, broken streetlights, graffiti on every surface. The shop itself looked abandoned, metal gate half open. Dark inside except for a dim light in the back. I pulled into the lot, parked exactly where a helpful spray-painted X marked the spot, turned off the engine, left the keys, got out, walked away without looking back. 2 blocks south, another black Mercedes was waiting. Different car, same idea. I got in. This driver wasn't Yi. Younger, same granite face, same dead eyes, the uniform of people who do terrible things and sleep fine after. He took me home. I walked back into my apartment as the sun was coming up. Pink light through my windows. Beautiful, like the world hadn't changed. Like I hadn't just helped dispose of evidence in a murder. Like I was still the same person who worked in accounting and watched Netflix alone. I wasn't. I took another shower. Scrubbed my hands until they were red. The smell of that car was still in my nose. Smoke and sweet air freshener and something underneath. Something wrong. I called in sick to work. First time in 2 years. My supervisor sounded annoyed. I didn't care. I couldn't sit in my cubicle and file reports and smile at coworkers. Not today. Not with the feeling of that steering wheel still in my hands. The weight of those keys. The knowledge of what I'd done. I slept finally. Exhausted. The kind of sleep that's more like unconsciousness. Dreamless. Empty. When I woke up, my real phone had a news notification. Man found dead in car fire. Investigators suspect foul play. Kim De-young. The article had his photo. Smiling, happy, normal, like he'd ever been any of those things. The article said he was 34. Married. 2 kids. The fire had been intense. Not much left to identify. Very tragic. Police were investigating. But they wouldn't find the car. Because I'd taken it. I'd driven it. I'd left it to be torn apart and sold for pieces. Gone. Disappeared, like it never existed, like I was never there. The phone, his phone, my leash, sat silent on my nightstand. No call, no text. No acknowledgement of what I'd done. What I'd become, I was useful now. 2 weeks went by, work, routine, normal on the surface, dying inside. The phone stayed silent. I carried it everywhere anyway, checked it compulsively. Nothing. My mother called, I talked to her, lied about being fine. Listened to her talk about her life. Safe things, normal things, things I'd given up to keep her alive. January 3rd. The office was quiet. People were still recovering from the holidays. I was at my desk, staring at spreadsheets that didn't matter when my supervisor stopped by. Yuna, do you have a minute? I looked up. He was smiling. The kind of smile that meant he wanted something. The same smile he'd had for 6 months while trying to get me to sleep with him. Of course. I need you to pull some files for me, old contracts, from 2019 through 2021. Everything related to the D1 construction deal should be in the archive room. Can you handle that? When do you need them? End of day, I nodded. No problem, he left. I went to the archive room, 3 floors down, basement level, rows of file boxes. Decades worth of paper contracts before everything went digital. Dusty, cold, fluorescent lights humming their death song. I found the boxes labeled D1 construction, pulled them down, started going through files. That's when I realized, D1 construction, I'd heard that name recently. Where? My mind raced back. That first night, the papers on his desk. The notes he was making. I'd seen the name, D1 construction, I was sure of it. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone. His phone. The one that only had his number. I stared at it. Don't ask questions. Don't hesitate, just obey. But this couldn't be coincidence. My supervisor asking for these exact files, these exact dates, right after I'd seen them on that desk. The phone rang. I jumped, dropped a file box. Papers scattered everywhere. First ring, I answered. Yes. The D1 files take photos of everything. Every page, every signature, every date. Use your personal phone. Upload them to the cloud. Send me the link. Then put the files back exactly as you found them. Your supervisor gets nothing. But he asked me. I know what he asked you. I'm telling you what to do. This is what useful means, Park Yuna. This is your job now, do you understand? Yes. Good, you have 2 hours. He hung up. I stood there in the dusty archive room, surrounded by scattered papers, understanding finally clicking into place. My supervisor wasn't working alone. He was working for someone else. The competitor, maybe. The one Kim De-young had betrayed my new boss for. They wanted these files. Needed them for something worth killing over, and I was in the middle. I spent the next 90 minutes photographing every page, hundreds of them, contracts, addendums, signatures, financial records. My real phone's camera working overtime, everything uploading to the cloud in real time. When I finished, I boxed everything back up, put the boxes back exactly where I'd found them, left the archive room empty-handed, went back to my supervisor's office. I'm sorry, I said. I couldn't find them. The archive system is a mess. The boxes are mislabeled. I searched for 2 hours. They might have been destroyed when we moved offices 3 years ago. A lot of old files were purged then. He stared at me, eyes narrow, suspicious. You couldn't find them. No, I'm sorry. They have to be there. Maybe they are, but I don't know where. The archive room is enormous, without a better system. Fine. He bit off the word. I'll get someone else to look. Of course. I left before he could ask more questions, went back to my desk, sent the cloud link to the number, the only number in my new phone. 3 minutes later, good work. That was all, 2 words. But they felt like a knife, like approval from the devil, like success at becoming something I never wanted to be. My supervisor disappeared the next week, just didn't come to work one day, then another, then another. HR sent an email. Personal leave. Family emergency. He never came back. 3 months later, a new hire started in his position. Younger, quieter. She never asked me to pull files, never tried to sleep with me, never asked questions about that week in January. I knew why. She worked for him too. January became February. February became March. The phone rang regularly now, never predictable, never expected. 2 a.m. 2 p.m. Didn't matter, first ring, always. Sometimes the jobs were simple. Drive a car somewhere, pick up a package, deliver an envelope. Don't look inside, don't ask questions. Sometimes they were harder. There's a man at your office, 3rd floor, sales department, Nam Junho. He's been taking photos of company records, selling them to competitors. Find out what he's photographed, how he's getting the information out, who he's selling to. I'll send someone to your building. Maintenance uniform. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. You'll pass him a USB drive with everything you find. Understand? Yes. I became a spy in my own office, watching Nam Junho, following him to lunch, to the bathroom, to the smoking area, learning his patterns, his habits, his weaknesses. He liked to work late, alone. That's when he took his photos, when he thought no one was watching, but I was watching. I was always watching now. I cloned his access card, slipped into his office after he left one night, found his hidden phone, cheap burner, photos of documents, financial records, client lists, everything uploaded to an encrypted cloud. I copied everything, downloaded it to a USB drive, passed it to the maintenance man the next day. He took it without a word, disappeared into the building's mechanical systems. Gone. Nam Junho disappeared too, 2 weeks later. Taking a new position overseas, HR said. Very sudden opportunity. No one believed it. Everyone whispered about it for a week, then forgot, moved on. People disappear all the time in Seoul. New jobs, new cities, new lives. Or no life at all. I stopped asking which. April brought cherry blossoms and a new assignment, not a phone call this time. A text, tomorrow night, 9 p.m., Namsan Tower observation deck. Where something nice, you're meeting someone. I didn't respond, didn't need to. He'd know I received it. He always knew everything. I wore a dress, heels, makeup, like a date, like something normal. The observation deck was crowded, tourists taking photos, couples watching the city lights. Beautiful, romantic. Perfect cover. The man was waiting by the north window. Tall, handsome, expensive suit. He smiled when he saw me. Natural, easy, like we were old friends. "Yuna," he said, "you look beautiful." I didn't know him. Never seen him before. "Thank you," I said carefully. "Walk with me." We walked slowly around the observation deck, looking at the view. His hand rested lightly on my lower back. Possessive, proprietary. To anyone watching, we were a couple. Together, normal. "I'm going to put something in your purse," he said quietly. Not looking at me, looking at the city. "USB drive, you don't look at it, don't access it, don't touch it. Tomorrow at work, you'll leave your purse in the second-floor ladies' room. Third stall. 10 a.m. exactly. You'll count to 60, then you'll retrieve your purse and go back to work. Understand?" "Yes." His hand moved. Brief pressure against my purse, then it was done. "You're doing well," he said, still smiling. Still looking at the lights. "He's pleased with you." He didn't need to specify who he was. "He says you're smart, careful, reliable. Those are rare qualities, valuable." "Thank you." "Don't thank me, just keep being useful." "That's all that matters. Useful people live, useless people." He made a soft sound, almost sad. "Well, you know." We completed the circle, back where we started. He kissed my cheek. Gentle, friendly, his lips were cold. "Enjoy your evening, Yuna." He walked away. Merged into the crowd. Disappeared. I stood there for 30 minutes more, staring at the lights, feeling the weight of the USB drive in my purse, whatever was on it, whatever I was helping him do. I didn't look. I followed the instructions exactly. Left my purse. Counted to 60, Mississippi method, like a game of hide and seek, except the penalty for losing wasn't being found. It was being disappeared. When I retrieved my purse, the USB drive was gone. Simple, clean, untraceable. That's what I was now. A transfer point. A dead drop. A useful tool in a machine I didn't understand and didn't want to. May, June, July, summer heat and more assignments, more late-night drives, more packages, more files. More people who disappeared after I helped make them problems instead of people. I stopped counting. Stopped trying to keep track. Stopped letting myself think about what happened after I did my part. Willful ignorance. Survival mechanism. Same thing. My mother visited in August, first time in a year. She took the train up from Busan. I met her at Seoul Station. She looked older. Smaller, when had she gotten so small? "You've lost weight," she said, hugging me. "Work stress. You work too hard." "I know." We went to lunch, her favorite restaurant. Bulgogi and banchan and too much soju even though it was noon. She talked. I listened, tried to be present. Tried to forget the phone in my pocket. The leash around my neck. The blood on my hands even though it never showed. "Are you happy?" she asked suddenly. I looked up. She was watching me, really watching, the way mothers do, the way they see through everything. "Of course." "Liar," I tried to smile. "I'm fine, Mom." "Really? You look tired, sad, like something died inside you." She was more right than she knew. I'm just busy. Work is demanding right now. Too demanding, you should quit, find something else. Something that doesn't make you look like this. Like what? Like you're carrying the world on your shoulders, like you're afraid all the time. Are you in trouble, Yuna? Yes, I thought, so much trouble. The kind you can't escape. The kind that ends with you or everyone you love disappearing. No, I said. I promise I'm fine. She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes, but she didn't push. Just reached across the table and held my hand. Her skin was soft, warm, real. If something's wrong, she said quietly. If you need help, you can tell me. I'm your mother. I'll always help you. That's what I was afraid of. That's why I could never tell her. The phone rang at 3 a.m. that night. She was asleep in my guest room. I answered in the bathroom, door closed, water running just in case. Yes. Your mother leaves tomorrow at 2 p.m., her train, back to Busan. Make sure she gets on it. I was going to. I know, change of plans, something's come up. You're needed, your mother goes home as scheduled. Alone, understand. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror, exhausted. Thin, dark circles, like something died inside. My mother was right. Understand? Yes, good. Yi will pick you up at 3 p.m., be ready. He hung up. I stared at my reflection. Hated what I saw, hated that I'd answered. Hated that I'd do exactly what he said because the alternative was my mother on that park bench feeding stray cats while someone. I stopped the thought. Didn't finish it. Couldn't. I put my mother on the train the next day, hugged her goodbye, watched her wave from the window, watched the train pull away, watched my last connection to normal disappear down the tracks. Yi picked me up at 3 p.m. exactly. Different car this time. Black SUV, tinted windows. We drove for over an hour. Out of Seoul, into the countryside, hills, trees, civilization falling away behind us. We stopped at a house. Big, modern, isolated, no neighbors, no witnesses, just forest and silence. He was waiting inside. First time I'd seen him since that initial night. 4 months ago, felt like years. He looked the same, beautiful, dangerous, perfectly controlled. He was standing by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the forest. Glass of wine in his hand, red, dark as blood. Park Yuna. He turned. Smiled, come in. I walked inside. The house was stunning. Open plan, expensive furniture, art on the walls, everything perfect, everything beautiful, everything hiding something terrible underneath. Drink, he gestured to the wine. No thank you, suit yourself. He took a sip, watching me over the rim of the glass. You've been busy. You've kept me busy. True. He walked to a couch, sat down, gestured for me to sit across from him. You've done well. Every task, every assignment. Perfect execution, no mistakes, no questions, exactly what I needed. I sat, waited. This wasn't why I was here. Wasn't why he'd pulled me away from my mother. Wasn't why we drove an hour into isolation. How do you feel about your work? He asked. Strange question, unexpected. I do what you tell me. That's not what I asked. How do you feel about it? The driving, the deliveries, the watching, the reporting. How does it make you feel? I didn't know how to answer. Didn't know what he wanted to hear. Honestly, he said, reading my hesitation. I want to know. It makes me feel like I'm dying inside, like I'm becoming something I never wanted to be. Like every task pulls me further away from the person I was. He nodded, sipped his wine. Good, good. That means you still have a conscience, still feel something, that's useful. People who stop feeling become careless, reckless, dangerous. You feel but you obey anyway. That's control. That's discipline. That's what makes you valuable. He set down his wine glass, leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes locked on mine. I brought you here because you've graduated. You're not a courier anymore, not a spy, not a tool. You're something more now, something better. I didn't like where this was going. There's a man, he said. Park Sung-min. He works for the prosecutor's office. He's been investigating my operations for 2 years. He's smart, careful, patient. He's built a case. Names, dates. Evidence, enough to cause serious problems. Enough to put me away for life. Maybe worse. He paused. Let that sink in. He has a daughter, 23 years old, recent university graduate. Works at a coffee shop in Gangnam while she figures out what to do with her life. Her name is Park Hae-won. Pretty girl, sweet, innocent, everything her father wants to protect. My stomach dropped. "You're going to become her friend," he said. Simply, like suggesting we get lunch. "You're going to meet her. Talk to her, learn about her life. Her father, his habits, his patterns, his weaknesses. You're going to get close, earn her trust. And then, when I need it, you're going to help me take her." "No," the word came out before I could stop it. Automatic, visceral, a line I couldn't cross. His expression didn't change. "No, I can't, I won't, not that, anything else, but not that. You don't have a choice. There's always a choice." "No," he said, standing up. Walking toward me, slow, predatory. "There isn't. You made your choice 4 months ago, Christmas Eve. Wrong car, you chose to live. You chose to keep your mother alive. That choice is permanent. Everything that comes after is just consequences." He stopped in front of me, looking down, close enough that I could smell his cologne again. Expensive, familiar, terrifying. "Park Hae-won is innocent, but so are you, so is your mother. Innocence doesn't matter. All that matters is usefulness. She's useful as leverage against her father. You're useful as the person who delivers her to me. That's all there is. I can't do that to someone. You already have Nam Joon-ho, your supervisor, Kim D-young, all the packages you've delivered without asking what was inside. All the information you've stolen without asking what it would be used for. You've been doing this all along. This is just more direct, more honest." I felt sick. He was right. I'd been lying to myself for months, pretending that if I didn't know the details, I wasn't responsible for the consequences. But I was. Every person who disappeared, every operation I helped facilitate, every piece of evidence I destroyed, all of it me. "She's innocent," I whispered. "So were you, once." He walked back to his wine, finished it, set the glass down with a soft clink. "You have 2 weeks, meet her, become her friend, learn everything, 2 weeks, then we move. Understand?" I couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. "Understand?" "Yes." That night I lay in my apartment, back in my safe, normal apartment that didn't feel safe or normal anymore, and stared at the ceiling. The phone was silent on my nightstand, but I could feel it. Feel him, feel the weight of what he'd asked me to do, what he'd ordered me to do. Park Hae-won, 23, sweet, innocent, about to be destroyed because her father tried to do the right thing, about to be used as leverage, threatened, hurt, maybe killed. Because of me, I thought about running, about going to the police, about telling someone, anyone, but he'd been right that first night. He owned the police, owned the city, owned me. There was no escape, no cavalry coming. No hero to save me, just choices, bad choices, impossible choices, choices that would destroy me either way. I found Park Hae-won's coffee shop the next day. Small place, artistic. The kind of cafe that attracts young people trying to look bohemian. She was working the counter, exactly as he'd described. Pretty, sweet smile. Friendly, I ordered coffee, sat in the corner, watched her work, watched her laugh with customers, watched her live her normal life while I planned how to end it. This is what becoming useful really meant. This is what survival really cost. I went back the next day, and the next. Always ordered the same thing, always sat in the same spot, always watched, learning her patterns, her schedule, her personality. On the 5th day, she recognized me. "You're here a lot," she said, smiling. "Regular already?" "Good coffee," I said, returning the smile, feeling like a monster. "Thanks, I'm Hae-won." "Yuna." "Nice to meet you, Yuna." She had no idea. No idea that her name was on a list. That her father's investigation had signed her death warrant. That the friendly, regular customer was actually a predator in training. No idea that I was going to destroy her life to save mine. We started talking. Little conversations at first. Weather, work, the neighborhood, she was easy to talk to. Open, trusting. Everything I used to be, everything I'd lost. Everything I was taking from her. We exchanged phone numbers, real ones this time. Not the burner, not the leash. Just 2 regular people becoming friends, except nothing about this was regular. By the 2nd week, we were meeting outside the coffee shop. Lunch, shopping, movies, normal friend things. She told me about her life, her dreams, her worries about finding a real job, her close relationship with her father. "He works too hard," she said over coffee one afternoon. our coffee, our regular spot, our friendship built on lies and death. Prosecutor's office. Big case, he's stressed all the time, won't talk about it, but I can tell he looks exhausted, worried. Maybe he should take a vacation, I suggested, hating myself with every word. I've tried, he says after this case. After he closes it. Then he'll rest. She had no idea that case was why I was here, why we were friends, why she was about to become collateral damage. The phone rang that night. 2 a.m., always 2 a.m., like he knew when darkness was deepest. Status. She trusts me, we're friends. She talks about her father, his schedule, his case, everything you wanted. Good, tomorrow night, there's a club in Gangnam, exclusive. I'll get you both on the list. You'll take her there, have a good time. Get her drunk. At midnight, you'll get a text, address. You'll tell her you both need to leave, take a car together, drop her at that address, then leave. My mouth was dry. What happens to her? What did I tell you about questions? Please. Just tell me she won't be hurt. Tell me you'll just talk to her father, scare him, make him drop the case. Tell me she'll be okay. Silence. Long, heavy. She'll be alive, he said finally. If her father cooperates. If he doesn't, he paused. Well, that depends on him, not on you. You're just the delivery system. What happens after is not your concern, not your responsibility, not your guilt to carry. But it was. We both knew it was. Tomorrow night, midnight, the address. Don't be late. He hung up. I sat in the dark for hours. Phone in my lap, thinking about Park Hae-won, her smile, her dreams, her trust, thinking about my mother, her park bench, her stray cats, her voice on the phone every Sunday. Thinking about choices that weren't really choices. About survival. About becoming a monster to stay alive. About the exact moment you cross a line you can never uncross. I met Hae-won the next evening. 7 p.m. We got ready at my apartment, did our makeup together, shared clothes, like real friends, like this was real. This is going to be fun, she said, smiling at herself in the mirror. Young, happy, alive. Yeah, I said. It will be. The club was exactly what he'd promised. Exclusive. Beautiful, expensive. We drank, we danced, we laughed. She was having the time of her life. I was counting down to midnight. 11:30, 11:45, 11:58. The text came at exactly midnight. Address, residential area. 40 minutes away. We need to go, I told Hae-won. She was drunk, happy. Already, we just got here. I know, but I have work early tomorrow, and you said you have that job interview Monday. We should both sleep. You're right, she sighed. Responsible adult stuff. Come on, I'll share a car with you. We got a taxi. I gave the driver the address. Hae-won leaned against me in the back seat, half asleep, trusting, safe. I wanted to tell her, wanted to warn her. Wanted to say run, scream, call your father, call the police, do anything except trust me. But I didn't. Because survival meant silence, meant obedience, meant delivering my friend to monsters because the alternative was my mother disappearing. We arrived at the address. Residential street, nice neighborhood. Quiet, the house was dark, no lights. This is you, I asked. She squinted at the house, confused. Number I don't live here. The door opened. 2 men came out, not Yi. Not the man from Namsan Tower. Different people. Same dead eyes. Hae-won saw them, tensed, suddenly sober. Yuna, what? One of the men opened her door. Come with us. She looked at me, fear in her eyes, betrayal, understanding dawning. Yuna. What's happening? Yuna, I couldn't look at her, couldn't meet her eyes, couldn't watch what I'd done. I'm sorry, I whispered. They pulled her from the car. She screamed, fought, called my name, called for help. Drive, I told the taxi driver. But, drive. Now he drove, because everyone in Seoul knows when not to ask questions, when not to see, when not to remember. We left her screaming behind us. I made him drop me 6 blocks away. Paid cash, walked home through empty streets. It was 3 a.m. The city was silent, just me and my guilt and the sound of her voice calling my name. I threw up in an alley, twice, leaned against a wall and cried, ugly, gasping sobs, the kind that hurt, the kind that changed nothing. My phone rang. His phone, the leash, good work. I couldn't speak. Go home, sleep. Tomorrow everything goes back to normal. You did what you needed to do, you survived, that's all that matters. She trusted me. Yes. That's why it worked. I'm a monster. No, he said. Soft, almost kind. You're a survivor. There's a difference. Monsters choose cruelty. You chose life, your mother's life. That's not monstrous. That's human. That's what humans do. They survive. No matter what it costs. No matter who it costs. I'll never forgive myself. Good. Guilt means you're still human, still useful. Keep that guilt, Park Yuna. Let it remind you what you're capable of, what you'll do to survive. Because this won't be the last time. There will be more choices. More impossible choices. And you'll make them. You'll do what needs to be done because the alternative is unacceptable. He hung up. I walked home, showered, scrubbed Haewon's touch from my skin, her trust, her friendship, her betrayal. The water ran cold, but I kept scrubbing, until my skin was raw, until I couldn't tell tears from water, until I was empty. I learned later that her father dropped the case. 3 days after she was taken, dropped everything, destroyed his evidence, resigned from the prosecutor's office, moved to Jeju Island with his daughter, started over. She came back safe, unharmed, exactly as he'd promised. But she wasn't the same. I saw a photo months later, online. Some article about prosecutors who'd quit. She was in the background, thin, haunted, older than 23 should look, like something died inside. I recognized the look, saw it in my mirror every day. That was October. November brought winter and new assignments. Nothing as bad as Haewon. Nothing that required destroying friendships or betraying innocence. Just the usual. Packages, deliveries, information, watching people, reporting patterns, being useful, being a monster in small, manageable ways. December came, 1 year, full circle. Christmas Eve again, I was at a different company party this time. Same hotel, different ballroom, different job. He'd arranged my transfer, better position, better pay, better access to information he needed. My phone was charged this time. My ride was arranged, nothing left to chance. But I stood outside in the cold anyway, watching the valets, watching people get into their cars, right cars, wrong cars, cars that would take them home, cars that would change everything. I wondered how many of them were like me, how many had gotten into wrong cars, made bad choices, sold their souls for survival, how many were monsters pretending to be human. The phone rang, first ring. I answered. Yes, Merry Christmas, Park Yuna. I almost laughed. Merry Christmas. Like this was normal, like we were friends, like he wasn't the devil and I wasn't damned. Merry Christmas. 1 year, you've lasted longer than most. Do you know why? No. Because you understand something that others don't. You understand that survival isn't about being strong. It's about being flexible, adaptable, willing to become what's necessary. You've done that. You've become exactly what you needed to be. What's that? Mine, one word. Simple, true, absolute. I have something for you, he said. A bonus for excellent service, for 1 year of perfect obedience, your mother's mortgage. I've paid it off. The house is hers, free and clear. Merry Christmas. I couldn't speak, couldn't process, couldn't understand why that made everything worse instead of better. You don't have to thank me, he said. Just keep being useful. Keep being mine. That's all the thanks I need. Why? Why what? Why me? Why that night? There were 20 people at that valet stand. 20 people who could have gotten into your car. Why did you choose me? Silence, long enough that I thought he'd hung up. I didn't, he said finally. You chose yourself. You got into that car, you made that choice. Everything after has just been consequences. You can't blame me for choices you made, Park Yuna. You can't blame me for who you've become. You did that. All of it yourself. He was right. That's what made it unbearable. I hadn't been chosen, hadn't been special, hadn't been targeted. I just made a bad choice. One moment, one mistake, one wrong car, and everything after had been inevitable. Go home, he said. Charge your phone, wait for my call. That's your life now, that's what you chose. He hung up. I stood in the cold. Christmas Eve, 1 year later, different person, same city, same darkness. My mother called at 8 p.m. exactly. I was home by then, safe, normal. Merry Christmas, baby, she said. Merry Christmas, Mom. I have news. The bank called. My mortgage, it's paid off. Can you believe it? They said there was an anonymous donor, just paid it, all of it. I don't understand, but I'm free. The house is mine. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful, I echoed. You sound tired. Just work. You work too hard. I know. We talked for 30 minutes. Normal things, safe things. Things that didn't include the truth. That her house was paid for with blood money. That her daughter was a monster. That her freedom was bought with someone else's suffering. That survival came at costs she'd never know. I love you, she said before hanging up. I love you too, Mom. And I did. That was the worst part. I still loved her. Still loved the person I used to be. Still remembered what normal felt like. But I couldn't go back. Couldn't undo. Couldn't escape. The phone sat on my nightstand. Silent. Waiting. Ready to ring. Ready to demand. Ready to remind me what I was. What I'd become. What I'd always be. Mine, he'd said. He was right. I was his tool, his weapon, his monster. And I'd done it to myself. That's the part I can't forgive, can't forget. Can't escape. I made the choice. I got into that car. I answered that phone. I obeyed. I delivered Park Hay-1. I became useful. I became this. And now, sitting here telling you this story, I'm still useful. Still his. Still waiting for the phone to ring. Still pretending I'm human when we both know I'm not. The car was too clean. That's what I should have noticed. That's what should have warned me. But I got in anyway. And that choice, that one moment, that one mistake, it killed the person I was and created the monster I am.